Hello, everybody. I'm Helen, and I teach at the Dorothy Benson Senior Services Center. And today we're week 3, the third class of our zippered pouch. And the first class, we did our lined rectangular zippered pouch with the box pleat bottom. Okay. And it was fun. We don't have to insert the lining separately. We inserted it as we went along. The zipper is exposed, so you can use a colorful zipper, and you can do it any size. And then last week we did the pyramid, and this is just a fun little, I guess you can put little stuff in it, but it has a tab on it, and it's lined also. It's lined as you go along with it. On this one, I just kind of made the fabric the same size, the lining and outside fabric. So the lining kind of bunches up a little bit on the inside, which bothered me. So I decided to do this one where when I stitched the lining part, I just went just a hair smaller, and it has a better fit. Okay, it doesn't bunch up as much. And the only thing you have to be careful is that if you have a one-way design, that is facing the right way instead of upside down. So this is a pyramid zipper, and easy to make, fun to make. Maybe if you made it out of like Halloween print fabric or holiday print fabric, these might be cute to put like little gifts, or for Halloween, maybe Halloween candy. Okay. Or maybe even like party favors or something, or wedding gifts or something. Okay, and then today we're gonna do the one zipper, or continuous zipper is what it's called. It didn't work out too well on this one, maybe. Yeah. Okay, so basically it's just one side of your zipper that you'll be using, and the other end does not have a tab. Okay, so let me see if I can explain that to you. And this one is lined also. I don't like this one. I'm not good at stitching circles, and I did put a tab on this one. So what I did was I looked online, and there's various kinds. There's some that are rectangular and some that are all kinds of odd shapes, but I did find this one lady's design that I thought was really nice. So you may want to look at her thing, and I'm going to put it in the chat box what her website was. Yeah, I think it was the Masquerade. Oops. Yeah. So let me see if I can type this in. And I think if you go to this link, you'll see this kind of like a clam-shaped container, which seems more functional. So I kind of copied, hers is much bigger, but I kind of copied her design. I haven't made it yet, so I don't know how it's going to turn out. And basically, hers is going to look like this. And when it opens up, it kind of, opens up like this. Okay, so you can see your contents. This one's okay, but yeah, I haven't stitched where I turned it inside out. This one also, it instantly lines at the same time you sew it. So basically, she does have on her site the pattern, which you can print out for free. And I kind of copied it, but I made it much, much smaller. Okay. Well, maybe about this much smaller. Okay. But I would assume you can do it any size you want. Okay. This part is placed on the fold. So when you cut out your thing, it's going to be this kind of a shape. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. What you're going to need is you're going to need your outer fabric. And I'm going to use this floral one. And then you need your lining. I only fused interfacing just on the lining part. to stiffen it up. I guess you can, you can probably interface that part too, but I just thought I do it on one side only and see what happens. Sometimes when you put too much interfacing on, it just gets it so bulky. So what you need to do is get a zipper, just a regular zipper if you want, or you can probably take one out of the old jacket or something you no longer need. And you want it to be just a little bit, you do need it a little bit longer than the whatever, the edge you're gonna sew it, okay? So you take your zipper and then, and this is a brand new zipper, but you just cut off right before that metal part, okay? And then you take the whole thing off. Now, don't lose this guy, okay? This little tab thing. And all you do is just use one zipper tape. Now, if you don't want to waste this, you can actually buy zipper tape. You can actually buy these guys separately, but the size has to match your zipper size, okay? And if you're gonna make like hundreds of these, maybe you want to do that, buy this separately and then rows and rows of the tape separately. But just for one, you don't need it. Now, for this other one, it gets tossed away unless you happen to have another one of these laying around that doesn't have a zipper tape to go with it, and then you can attach it. Sometimes they'll be like, you'll have like different colors, and that's kind of cool too. Okay, so don't lose this guy. So I am going to stick this on a pin, needle cushion. See a little hole there? I'm just going to stick it there so I don't lose them, okay? Now, what you need to do is this guy, take your, it doesn't matter if you start your lining or what. What you're going to do is, I got to figure out which is the right side now. Let's see. Okay, so that's the right side. There's also, you needed to cut that other metal part off too, okay? So this is the part that's going to be seam. So I have to do it this way if it's going to look like this. Okay, so it'll be right sides and right sides together. And I'm going to, since I have so much, I'm actually going to find the center part. Okay. Yeah, right sides and right sides together, and then kind of guess where my center is here. All right. And then I have to pin everything. I'm not too good at using those clip things. So I'll pin this on. And we're going to stitch around about the center of the zipper, I think. And so because this is a curve, you kind of need to pin it. Because you want to kind of keep that curve shape. So I'm going to pin it, and I'm going to have quite a bit left over. That's good. Okay. The excess will be cut off later, but now like I said, there's all kinds of shapes out there on YouTube that you can watch. This one opens up more like a clam shape. I did one that was longer and more shallow. I really don't know what this one opens up like spreads out and opens up, so I can see how it's a good zippered pouch to have if you're working on something and you need to have access to like safety pins or something while you're sewing. But otherwise, I don't really know why you would do this, except that it's kind of a cool idea. I'm actually going to stop stitching before I get to the seam edge, okay? Probably stop stitching about, let's see, 1/4 of an inch maybe, okay? And you can try this different ways. I just happened to try it with putting a tab in this one. You can't really put a tab on this side because this is like a loop right here. It's a fold part. So I guess you can technically sew one in here as you go along. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. So you can do all kinds of, probably create your own designs this way too. This is kind of a little bit tricky here. Now, if you wanted to stand up and have not collapse on you when you unzip it, or even when you have it zipped, then you probably do want to interface it. I'm just using quilting cotton weight fabric, so mine's probably going to flop around a lot, but that's okay. Okay, some people use clips here, but I'm just not too good with clips, so. And then hopefully I remember to leave a 1/4 inch space before stitch, like 1/4 inch before the edge. I mean, yeah, after the edge. Okay. So now we're going to stitch this. Excuse me. Okay, let's see if you can see this. All right, I'm not using matching thread. Well, this one actually matches. Okay, I'm gonna move the needle all as far left as I can on this machine. And I will use, I'm gonna go ahead and use a 3 stitch length. And let's see, you always want to put your needle down first if you can. Computerized machines are a little bit different. Okay, so I'm going to, I have to put the presser foot down first. Okay. I'm gonna back stitch 1, 2, and the presser foot, the zipper teeth are gonna push the presser foot away anyway. So you can't get that close unless you use a zipper foot, but I'm just using a regular foot. And you want to not run over your pins. Hopefully I don't pinch the fabric and get a tiny pleat. Go slow on this. Don't, just because your sewing machine goes fast doesn't mean you should, go top speed. So on this one, I'm actually going to stop about 1/4 inch before the edge. Something tells me I should try that and see if I can reduce some of the bulk where the zipper tape turns. Okay, so this is the outer fabric and your end product's going to look like this, okay? So the zipper goes there. Now, let's see, do I put the zipper in yet? No. Okay, now let's get rid of all the threads here. And we're gonna attach the lining now. Let's see, yeah. Okay. So once again, the lining has to go that way. So the lining goes right side to right side together, I think. Oh, wait, it's wrong. Okay. So the lining's going, yeah, right side to right side together. So we're basically sandwiching in the zipper, okay? But I can't see where I sewed before, so I'm gonna flip it over and follow that same stitching line. So this one, Let me see if I probably don't have to be as careful as pinning this one because it's already been attached to the zipper tape's already been attached to the, oh, it looks like I pinched the fabric here. That might give me problems, huh? Okay, I better undo that and fix it. Okay. Can't see what's going on here. I back stitches, so it's kind of a lot of thread here. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So fix that. It looks like the zipper tape moved the fabric for me, so that's why it got pinched. All right, no problem. We'll just, sew that up. Okay. Now we gotta attach this. I'm just going to, instead of putting it exactly, I'm just gonna move it a hair out more. So because the lining is going to have less space than the outer fabric. So I'll just move that in a little bit. And then this, and then see if I can pin this. It's a little bit tough to pin these guys because you've got the stiff zipper tape. They do sell zipper tapes that are a lot lighter and thinner. Usually they're for like evening garments or real lightweight chiffon lace garments. But I don't have one of those in this length. So I'll just pin this and move this. What I'm doing here is trying to scoot the lining fabric out up a little bit. And it's probably about probably about 2 millimeters. I don't know what that is in inches. It's probably less than 1/16 of an inch. It's easier to use centimeters because it's just easier to divide and add and all that. The fractions on inches can be challenging at times. Okay. So I've got it pinned so that just a little hair of the lining shows. And I'm going to stitch on the same stitching line. And leave about 1/4 of an inch from the edge away. I kind of don't want to stitch on the needle. So we go. Stitch, okay. So once again, I had my machine, I can move the needle to the left a little bit. As far to the left as possible, kind of halfway on the zipper tape. If you have a zipper foot, you can get closer, but you don't really want to get that close. Sometimes the lining can get stuck in there, in the zipper teeth. And if you wanted to, you can top stitch. So once close to the zipper, if you want to keep the two fabrics from getting caught in the zipper teeth. but and if you don't do that, you can probably do it later, even after this is done. Okay. Okay. So now our zipper is in. Hopefully I didn't pinch anything in the back. Okay. So now let's hope I did this right. All right, so when you pull this apart, and if you want, you can press at this point just to make everything easier. It's going to end up like this, okay? So here's the lining, and that's the outer fabric, and when you zip it, it's gonna be zipped like that. I am gonna go ahead and press this because it just makes it easier, and you end up with a neater product if you press as you go. So let's go over to the ironing board. And hopefully you have a good quality zipper. Sometimes a cheap zipper, the teeth melt with iron. And if you are worried, you can always use a press cloth so that the iron is not directly in contact with your zipper teeth. Okay. So it's a curve, so you kind of have to pull on the fabric. And like a little bit tricky. Okay, so that side's been pressed. If you want, before you press it, because this is a curve, and if your seam was wider, you can take pinking shears, and that kind of gives that notched effect. It might make your curve a little bit nicer, but this is just a little bag for sewing gadgets. So maybe I'll put sewing feet in it, or whatever, you know. Sometimes you need a bag like this to keep things from falling off your sewing table. Now, if I had interfaced both the outside fabric and the lining, I would clip notches in it because that would get a little bit too bulky. So it's pretty good. Okay. Now, this is the kind of tricky part. You put these together and you kind of cut it so that it's even. And then you look for that little zipper tab thing. Okay. This part's a little bit frustrating. Okay, so the V part, I don't know if you can see this, the V part, okay? You have to insert that. Let me see if I can do this way. This takes several tries for me. So you stick it in there. Oh, don't stick it in all the way, just in the beginning, about that much. And then you try to stick the other side in. Let's hope I did this right. Otherwise, we're going to have an upside down zipper. Okay. Now this part's kind of hard. Oops, that one came out. I can't even see this because this is a dark zipper. Okay, and somehow you gotta get this tape in there. And like I said, oops, I have a hard time with this. Shove it in there somehow. Okay, I can get one side in. I can't get the other one in. Maybe there's some thread caught in there. I'll do this side first, then oops, went too far. Yeah, you don't want to go too far, just in the beginning. Okay, now let's hope this goes in. And sometimes on YouTube, you can find a video on, some people use a fork to get this to work better, but I have not had success with that either. This might be one of the reasons why I don't do this single zipper method, only because this part drives me crazy. Okay, come on. Let me put it down on my lap. Probably be easier. It might be easier with a bigger zipper that had bigger teeth. That sounds tiny. All right, let's see if I can get this to work. Get rid of that thread. Sometimes it works easily and sometimes it doesn't. Let's see. I don't know why I'm having a hard time with this. Maybe something's wrong with the plastic. Maybe I cut it funny. Let's try again. I hope I don't have the zipper sewn in backwards, and that would cause a problem, wouldn't it? I don't think it's sewn in backwards. I wonder why it's not going in. Okay, that side goes in again. Try this side. Okay, finally. All right, I heard it click and it went in. So that's how it zips up, okay? Now, we need to sew the side seams and this seam. And let me, you want to kind of open it halfway. Okay. Now, I am going to, yeah. Make sure you unzip it halfway. And then you turn it inside out. or whatever way, outside in or whatever, inside out, yeah. And then we have to sew this, let's see, what's this? Okay, we have to sew this long seam. And I am going to try to put this together here. Just use this. Okay, so right here I left about maybe more than 1/4 of an inch where I didn't stitch it all the way. So that kind of gives me a place I can stitch it. Okay. Since this is starting to get unwieldy, I'm going to just go ahead and stitch this line first, and then I'm going to pin this and then stitch that line, okay? Just so I don't poke myself everywhere with the pins. And I'm going to use a 2.5 on this, and then, yeah. That's it. Okay. I'm actually going to not go all the way because I kind of want to, I'm kind of curious about what I can do about this tab. So I just stitched just that, yeah, one seam. Okay, now I'm going to pin this side and stitch that side. So match my little corners. And maybe just a hair bigger seam than the outer fabric got. Okay, I stopped way before the zipper. Yeah. All right, so normally you would want to let you go iron open the seams. Okay, so, oh, you know what? I forgot to leave an opening. Okay, so I'm gonna have to undo about this much for the opening to turn it inside out. Okay, I seem to be having to do a lot of rip out the seams lately. That's okay. It's just a little bit, so. Okay. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and use that hole to turn this. And so, well, before I do that, I'm at this point, I'm going to turn this inside out so you can see what it looks like. And then we're out of time, so I'm going to continue next week with the final process. But let me go ahead and see if I can turn this inside out. Okay, so far, it looks like this. Okay. And so, okay, so it's going to end up looking like this. Now, I'm going to play around with this one end where I didn't stitch all the way. I didn't stitch across the zipper either. I'm going to see if I can pull out this zipper tape and maybe turn that into more like a tab where you can pull. Yeah, I think I can do that. Maybe, maybe not. I might be able to cover this part with a piece of fabric, but it kind of shows the raw edge here, so I may not do that. I may just tuck it back in there. Yeah. You don't want to keep zooming and lose your tab, okay? So we finished up to here so far. I'm gonna have to take care of that little hole. And I wonder if I cut the pattern wrong or something. This looks odd. But I'm gonna stitch it so that it lies flat like that, okay? But I think I'm not going to leave this zipper tape out. I think I'm gonna put it back in and then cut it off and finish sewing that seam. So we'll come back next week to finish this up and see how it works out. Okay, so we have this pretty nifty guy. All right. And meanwhile, if you want to go ahead and just click on the masquerade.net side, she has a video tutorial also, but you might want to download her pattern. It's pretty cool. Okay, so we will see you next week. It's the last class and we'll finish this up and maybe I'll come up with another design, not sure. Okay, we'll see what we'll do next week. All right, talk to you later. Bye-bye.